I hate to lose. I like winning, obviously, I like winning, but it's not, I know I see a lot of interviews with guys saying that winning is the best feeling they've ever felt and stuff like that. For me, it's a good feeling, but I don't really celebrate or get too happy. It's almost like it's because I visualize obsessively. I train probably more than anyone I know or heard of. I just visualize everything in my head. I visualize winning so much that when it happens, it's kind of like I've already done it. So to me, my main stressor is not to lose. For me, I hate losing more than anything.
To the School of Hard Knocks.
Ryan Dickson is from Burlington, Canada, and he trains out of Jeff Jocelyn MMA. He currently has a record of 6 wins with only 2 losses. Those 2 losses coming to current UFC fighters.
I started fighting MMA, I started training MMA first because I was always into athletics as a kid. I played hockey, soccer, football, and I realized I wasn't going to go anywhere professionally with those sports. I did all right. I had all the skills and stuff, but I was definitely not going to be playing in the NHL or playing for PFC or anything like that. So I decided to try another route. I started off with doing jiu-jitsu, and from then on, it just spiraled into doing full MMA, and I've been hooked ever since.
Ryan, when he came in, just like any other student, showed an interest to train martial arts with us, and came with a friend originally, I believe. And it wasn't until a little while later where I realized how serious Ryan was about training. He'd show up for class day in, day out. He would come to do a lot of workshops on the side, extra practice things where the students pay extra to participate, and he'd show up for every one of those. And he just, he just kept seeing his face over and over again. So I don't really, if someone tells me that they're serious about training or that they want to fight, I don't really take it in too much. I let them kind of show me, and I'd rather not hear it. And with Ryan, he didn't talk much about it or verbalize it. He just showed up and trained and just kept coming in. So he showed a lot of dedication, and then ultimately he expressed that he wanted to fight mixed martial arts, and we went on from there.
I'm more dedicated now, having been this involved in MMA. My dedication for everything is a lot greater than it was before. I also had a bit, we joke about it all the time, but I think I have a bit of ADD, or I was told by one doctor that I have ADD or ADHD. It's helped with that. I can focus a lot better with that, and then it's also, I'm always happy. I'm a lot happier now doing this as opposed to if I were to just be working a normal job. When I had to do normal jobs, I was always grumpy and stressed. So now I'm a lot happier doing martial arts.
Ryan came in again with very intense focus, so he had really a desire to learn and to be a student of the game. And I think he's progressed a long way in terms of controlling his emotions. He's a very emotional guy, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't hold back. When he's pissed off, he'll show you he's pissed off, and when he's happy, he'll show you he's happy. So he's really got good control of that. Win or lose, or he's really gained an understanding of how each win or loss is a step forward in the right direction for him. And that's something that you can't teach somebody, and that he's learned, and he's come a long way since he started martial arts.
This is Ryan's first fight for the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, but he holds wins over Hard Knocks fighters Advin Omick and Brant Dewsbury.
Brant was probably my turning point, I guess you would say, because he was the first guy that I fought that had a big record. The other guys that I fought had winning records or okay records, but he fought me when he was 10-1 and I was only 4-0, and I won that fight pretty decisively, and I was able to come away with the win, obviously by finish, and it really gave me a lot of confidence knowing I could beat a guy of his skill level coming from a team that he comes from.
Ryan Dickson's opponent for this fight is American CJ Marsh. CJ Marsh comes in with a 4-4 professional record.
I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a crowd pleaser. He looks like he's obviously a good grappler with a lot of his finishes coming by submission, but I did watch a little bit, and he can stand and bang too. So hopefully that's going to be the way this goes, is make him stand up and bang with me and put on a good show for the fans, and then obviously come out with my hand raised.
I don't know a whole lot about CJ Marsh, but I do know that he is a mentally tough dude, because I've had, I think the number's at about 9 guys, 2 guys before CJ just for Hard Knocks, and then for other shows I had a bunch of guys that are high ranked and guys that are tough dudes that have backed out, and CJ right away said yes. So what I know is that he's a mentally tough dude. He's got experience, and from what I've seen, he's okay everywhere in the fight. So for me, I'm taking this fight very seriously. I'm really excited because for me, it's been hard to find fights, so I'm excited to just be able to compete, and I'm really glad that it's with Hard Knocks, who actually put forth a good effort to get me here, because there were other promotions that were one and done. Like they tried to find someone, and then when that guy said no, that was it. But Hard Knocks was able to. They went through one guy, he said no. They went through another guy, he got hurt. They went through the third guy, and finally it was a hit. So I'm really happy for that.
Well, I've been in that position before, and that sucks. You're ready to headline a card, you've been in a long camp, and people back out, and then you think you have another opponent, and the opponent backs out. I feel like maybe it's like MMA karma or something like that, it's my good duty to, I've been in camp too, I'm in shape, I'm ready to go. It's a great opportunity, it's a great show, it's a main event, why not,
Ryan takes his career in mixed martial arts very seriously. He has on staff his own doctor to assure nothing gets in the way of his success.
So I'm a naturopathic doctor by training. So I'm trained as a medical doctor and also trained in natural medicine as well. And then I've done additional trainings in very specialized performance things, so lab testing and professional supplements and also IV therapy and some other really kind of cutting edge techniques. So I use all those strategies to make sure that Ryan's at peak health all the time, and that we make sure that he's all aspects of his health are taken care of, and all aspects of his performance, so that he's ready for every fight, and you see the best Ryan Dickson that you'll see. We also make sure that when he's training 3 times a day like he does, that he's able to get the most out of his training sessions, and he's always kind of improving and always getting better in all aspects. It's very important for these guys, with the amount of work that they put in, that stuff shows on fight night. That's the biggest thing.
For me to be successful, I just need to do what I do. The last couple of fights, I got a little too one-dimensional. I was either just striking or whatever, but now I want to try and put everything into effect, work on the entire game instead of just doing striking or just doing jiu-jitsu, working MMA. If I can do that, then I'll win the fight.
Every fighter draws inspiration from a different source. For Ryan Dickson, true inspiration comes from many different places.
I'm going to get a little deep into this one, but I think that people are either willing to be inspired or they're not. The people that have normal jobs, that are average, mediocre people, are the people that close their mind to being inspired. If you want to be inspired, you can be inspired by anybody. I get inspired. My parents are going to laugh at this, but it's kind of corny. But I actually get inspired. I don't show it, but I get inspired by them, because the whole time I was a kid, my dad used to be a police officer, and he would do shift work. He'd still make it out to all my games. He'd still make it out to my brother's games. My mom has always worked and has been able to pretty much provide everything that me and my brothers have ever wanted or needed. So I get inspiration just from them. And then there's guys like my coach, Jeff, who he was at the top of the MMA world pretty much. He made it to the UFC, but now he can't compete anymore. But he still trains harder than pretty much all the pros in the area. And he's not training for anything. He's not fighting. It's just because he likes the sport so much. And then there's guys that Obviously, the obvious ones where you look at the other sports greats and you read about them in biographies, but then there's also the everyday people like I had testicular cancer, and there's people that you'll see that have some sort of crutch, like they'll have cancer, they'll have some sort of disability. Maybe they don't have cancer, but they have one leg or something like that, and they manage to overcome that. You can find inspiration from anyone if you are willing to look for it. There's people that no one inspires them because they don't have the eye for finding inspiration. I've been symptom-free for about just over a year now, but found out that I had testicular cancer around Valentine's Day just over a year ago, and I didn't take it too much to heart. Like now looking back, and seeing stuff I probably should have, because there was a guy, I don't remember his name, but there was a guy in the Premier League for soccer who just passed away with testicular cancer, but that never really crossed my mind because I hadn't achieved what I wanted to achieve yet for what I want to do, like mixed martial arts and stuff like that. But I did everything that was, I did all the proactive things that you should have done, which is ideal. I was supposed to be heading to Brazil to train, and I needed to finish my licensing for Ontario, the commission in Ontario, to fight when I wanted to come back. But when I did that, I got checked more thoroughly because I felt a little off, and sure enough, I ended up having some. I had a lump, and I needed to go into surgery right away. If I didn't have that, then I probably would have been one of those guys that waits too long and it was spread further on. So the main thing that I did well was, by accident, I did the proactive steps that you should do to deal with it properly. But most of the people that get it, they don't know they have it, and they keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it becomes too late. So the main thing is to be proactive with it and make sure to get checked if you feel a little off. In my head, I was going to be back to normal fast. I wasn't going to change, and that's because I hadn't done what I wanted to do yet for mixed martial arts. But mixed martial arts has just allowed me to be myself. I'm not really a normal. I'm a normal person, obviously. I'm not some sort of psycho, but I mean, like, I'm not a normal person that likes to. I get more nervous and more anxious going to bars and going to parties. Like that's not my normal atmosphere. I don't like. I don't do well in huge crowds of people and stuff like that. But when I'm doing interviews and stuff, when I'm fighting, when I'm training, that's my element. I don't feel nervous. I don't feel out of place. That's exactly where I'm supposed to be.
You have to live the sport. You cannot do it, for 50% of the day. You have to do it for 100% of your daily life. That being said, you have to sacrifice a lot. And a lot of people aren't ready to do that. And you sacrifice, I missed time with my son growing up. I was training 3 times a day. Ryan is sacrificing now, going out and hanging out with his friends, or, spending time with a girlfriend, or, it's a balance. You can't have the best of everything. And to climb to the highest levels, you got to immerse yourself in mixed martial arts. You got to learn everything that you see that you like. You got to keep. You can't let a technique go. You can't just be like, when you're done training, you go home and think about other things. It's kind of weird, but I think it's that excessiveness that makes you an absolute monster in the cage. And I think, I know Ryan thinks about the sport 100% of the time, and it's going to make him become the best mixed martial artist he can be.
Ryan and his opponent CJ Marsh are headlining this card. With their fight pedigree, the fans are expecting an excellent show. Both fighters will do their best not to disappoint.
This school of hard knocks fight is a professional bout in the 170-pound division and is our main event of the evening. Sponsored by Shaw GMC. And now, let's see the fighters.
He's 6'2" as a professional, 24 years old, and stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Jeff Jocelyn MMA from Toronto, Ontario. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Ryan Dickson. And in the red corner, he's 4-4 as a professional, 29 years old, fighting out of White Buffalo, Marcelo Alonso BJJ from Seattle, Washington. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, CJ Marsh. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Brian Beauchamp.
Gentlemen, this is the main event. We're over my instructions in the back room. I want a clean, fair fight. Any questions in the blue corner? Questions in the red corner? Let's touch dogs, get ready to fight.
These fighters get set for the main event of the evening.
Dixon's almost standing in the center to start the fight. Ryan Dickson put a hell of an armbar and CJ Marsh unable to escape. And this is something so unique in MMA here. He tapped him out, he was frustrated, and the first thing they did is say, wow, that was a heck of a fight. They knew they were a part of a great fight.
Yeah, smiles on both guys' faces as they're chatting here, and they'll get a
44 seconds in the second round. In the blue corner, Ryan Dickson.
Ryan Dickson continues his journey to do very well in MMA and work his way to the next level.
Well, I won, can't you tell? But no, I won by submission in the second round. I got hit a little more than I should have. He was good. He moved around well. He was able to counter over top of my strikes, and yeah, he did a good job.
It was a tough fight. It was exciting. Tough fight. I had him hurt a couple times. Had him hurt in the first round. He took me down at the end. I had him hurt bad in the second round, busted him open. Started to work the finish, but he's just a tough, hard-headed dude. He ended up taking me down towards the end of the round. Got a good position. I tried to escape, and he caught me. Lost by submission. It happens.
Yeah, it was a repeat pretty much of the first round. The first round I ran out of time, but and I rushed it a little. But I went for the arm lock. I got mount on him, and his arm was exposed enough for me to attack his right arm in the arm lock, and I was able to separate it and finish with the tap.
A fight's going to go, for the most part, one of two ways, and somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. I just made a mistake at the wrong time, and he ended up capitalizing on it. So,
I actually trained more on the feet, but I've been doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling for a long time, and that's what that's my strength. Almost all my fights. This will be my 6th pro submission win, and this fight I wanted to work my striking and make sure I was able to get the fight to the ground at least once around, and I did that. But I got to go back to the drawing board. I took a little too much punishment on the feet. Man, CJ Marsh has a losing record, but man, he's one of the tougher guys that I've fought. He did more damage on me than some of the guys that are better than him, that have higher rank, and he's also as tough mentally as they come.
More fights. Go back to the drawing board. My coaches weren't here, but they were watching, so they'll pick it apart and give me a hard time about it and make me better, and I'll come back a little better next time. 3
of my 4 last fights I've needed stitches, so but also I've been on the feet a lot more in all those fights, so I'm just going to need to work more diligently on my striking, because as of now I don't feel that the ground is an issue with anyone that's outside the UFC. I feel like I can submit anybody that's not in the UFC. But to get to the top levels, you need to be able to do striking, you need to be able to wrestle, you need to be able to do the submissions. So I'm going to keep getting beat up until I know enough to not get beat up. I need to work my striking, make sure my defense is on par, and until then, I'll keep doing it.
It sucks to lose, but I'll get better, and I'll hopefully you guys will have me back, and I'll be able to put on another exciting fight and come out victorious next time.
Well, I'm gonna just recover, and then try and find another fight right away. Once I'm cleared and once this is all healed up, I want to try and fight again quickly because I need to keep active so that way I can fill in the holes properly.
Now, with a record of 7-2, Ryan Dickson will need to spend a few weeks recovering. With his end goal being the UFC, Ryan will be back in the cage as soon as he can.
And they say in your career as a coach, you come across one or two people that have everything needed to climb to the highest ranks. And I think Ryan is one of the first guys that I've seen that has the drive, the work ethic, the ability to absorb techniques and learn things and to be tough, and so many facets that are important for a mixed martial artist, especially to climb to the top. And I think Ryan has all of those. And I think sky's the limit for him. He can do great things in the sport, and I'm excited to be a part of it.